Embeddings exist for all sorts of things these days. It's not just word embeddings. We've got language models. We've got universal sentence encoders, subword embeddings, multi-word embeddings, sense-to-vec, image stuff, audio stuff. And embeddings can be super powerful. But the one thing I've started disliking about them is that I am a kind of person who really likes to iterate quickly, and I'm not the kind of person who likes to learn a new framework just in order to use an embedding. So there's Keras and TensorFlow and PyTorch and JAX nowadays. And I'm sure cool stuff's happening in them. But if I just want to quickly try out, hey, how is this multilingual embedding? Is that useful for Dutch? I don't want to learn PyTorch. Like that's a step that's blocking me from just trying something out real quick. So I just want these embeddings to be just a little bit better for my use case, which is how I came to the name Embetter. The way it works, really, is it just turns a lot of the what I think are reasonably useful embeddings out there into scikit-learn components. So here's a code snippet. From Embetter, I'm grabbing two components. There is a column grabber that allows you to select a single column from a pandas data frame. That's kind of useful when you're working with text because sentence encoders typically don't speak pandas. They speak lists of text. But this still allows you to make a scikit-learn pipeline where first, you're grabbing the text. In this case, then you're grabbing the sentence encoder, and then you're using UMAP. So you can go from a CSV to a Python list to a embedding array to a two-dimensional embedding array. And oh my God, it's just one line of code. I like this. Like that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for here. It's not necessarily meant to be state-of-the-art because we're not directly fine-tuning anything with this. But just as a featureizer, it's one line of code. That's what Embetter is trying to do. And it doesn't just do this for text, by the way. Why stop there? Because what I can also do is something very similar, but instead of grabbing text, I'm grabbing a column called path, which has a path to an image. This will then grab me a list of strings referring to file paths. Then I can use an image loader, which turns that into a Python image library object, which is an object that Keras usually likes, as well as the PyTorch image library, TIM, by the way. And this TIM encoder can then grab very popular pre-trained image classification models like exception. And you're able to use either the final layer or the layer before. That's also like a hyperparameter you can select here. And again, you can UMAP afterwards, but this is something you can also totally do. Images can also just be encoded. And images are also supported right now. So I don't do audio just yet, but text and images are definitely supported. I use the sentence encoders library for text mainly. That seems to be the most stable thing out there and quite reasonable. For substrings, I use sense-to-vec, and for images, the TIM library really made it very easy for me, so I can highly recommend that. But that's what Embetter does. It just gives you these Lego bricks for these embeddings, and I'm not going to implement all of them, but my goal is to implement a bunch of them that are reasonable to just use for quick iteration. So you might think, okay, you've got these vectors, but now what? And just as a demo, what I would like to do now is just show you how cool it is to have these Lego bricks around, because you can do some fun stuff. And note that I'm not necessarily doing state-of-the-art stuff. I just want to emphasize how fun it is to build stuff with these tools.